If we don't give people a second chance, we diminish our own worth as human beings. We deny who we are as people, and we deny our own fallibility. How many times in life have you forgiven a child, or you've forgiven a relative and said, yeah, you made a mistake, but let's go on? I'm afraid that that's not necessarily the way a number of people look at it. We've evolved to a very, to my mind, is a unforgiving society in some ways. And we stigmatize people with their past history and their record. But that's not the way it's supposed to work. Once you pay the penalty, you are to come back into society. And society has an obligation to make sure that now you can function as a full member of society. And that's what Amicus is about.
Amicus was started by two attorneys, one who went to prison and served 30 months there, lost his family and everything that he valued. And out of the blue, another attorney who just had a lot of compassion for what he'd read about him in the newspaper decided to go and visit him. And he found that this man needed the help of a friend. They established a very core friendship in their lives, and they decided that what was good for them would be good for everybody else in the prison who wanted a friend. So they started Amicus.
No one should be judged by the worst thing they did one day. I think everybody should get a second, third, fourth, however many chances they need in order to get it right.
We believe in caring for people and building trust, and then having safe spaces for people to talk about who they were, who they are now, and who they want to become, and giving them some opportunities and resources to try out new ways of living in the community.
Well, what they say most, or first to us is, I don't have anybody, I need a friend. That's, you know Amicus is Latin for friend, and we've been finding friends for people for over 44 years.
It had been 14 years since I had a visit in prison. I started thinking, well, it's them and us, people in prison and people that are free. So I turned against everybody on the outside. So I wanted to start meeting people again. I mean, prison is an environment where everybody's negative. Mostly everybody's negative. So I wanted to get some new train of thought in my head. I wanted to start dealing with people on the outside to see what was going on and how life was going, how people lived every day. Because in prison, you lose touch with reality, and you're stuck in that world right there.
I've seen people who first asked for that friend, and the next time I go in the facility, their t-shirt is cleaner, their hair is combed. And I ask them, what's going on? They say, my friend's coming. And it's huge in their life.
Just that hour takes you away from that environment, and it lets you know that people still care, people still are willing to listen and give of themselves to you. And it's not what is he after? Because in prison you think everybody, if they're nice to you, they want something. You know, so he wasn't after anything. And it was a breath of fresh air. I look forward to his visits. It was just like I got out on the street for an hour.
When you're in prison, you try to find ways for yourself to continue on. I'm not a person that looks for anyone to fix it for me. I feel that's my responsibility. So I feel like I have to reach out as much as possible to every program, every opportunity that there is to prepare myself for a better day.
Jerome is in prison for murder. And so, that is, when you first hear that, as a volunteer, you're like, all right, you're gonna be paired with someone who committed murder. You're like, okay, I was expecting that, but wow. So, honestly, right now, now I've known him a year and a half, and again, just after those first few meetings, it became so irrelevant. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about his crime.
You know, I learn from other people. I think that's where the friends come in. I learn from their choices and see the outcome that they produce or that choice produced. And that right there, it's the energy from it lets me know that that's a positive thing to do.
I've gained a lot. In fact, I call my wife every time as I'm leaving the prison and talk about what we've talked about. And I'm like, wow, it's another great conversation. I always come back inspired. Honestly, I have probably gotten better business advice and life advice from Jerome than I really have from anyone else. So, and I'm not just making that up. I really feel that way, you know. And so I come out and I'm always thoughtful, and I'm always inspired.
Amicus helps people. Amicus helped me when I needed it the absolute most, and there really isn't anyone else there in a lot of ways. When you come out of prison, it's so difficult to find housing, jobs, and just someone who will treat you like they would treat anyone else, you know, someone who didn't have like a record. So that's why it's important. And what makes Amicus so important are the people of Amicus. They're the ones who do the work. They're the ones who come out to the prisons and see us, and also continue on after to help us with housing and to help us just feel better about ourselves.
I've always said that the people who volunteer for Amicus are the cream of the crop, and you can't categorize them into one type of person or people who come from one particular background. They're as different as they can be.
What's it like to be a volunteer for Amicus? Well, I think people are amazed because it's a very rewarding experience. I don't think you go into it for that reason, but once you get there and you meet the different people, you find out that everybody has a lot to give, to learn. I just think it's one of the best things that I did.
It's challenged me a lot, but it's brought way more than I thought it would. You know, I thought it would just be something that I was doing for someone else, but it's made me a better, you know, I feel like I'm a more dynamic person because of it, and I feel like I'm stronger and have a better sense of myself because of it too.
And I kind of compared it to my experience in the military. Any letter, any gift, anything, you know, just a hi, hello meant a lot to me. So I kind of could see, I could see the parallels between it, and I really wanted to give back.
And one of the questions that people always ask, you know, is how do you feel when you go in? And, you know, are you scared? And I said, no, I mean, this sounds kind of crazy, but I taught for 35 years, and I figured if you can walk into a metropolitan high school, you can certainly walk into Shakopee where there are all kinds of guards, and it's probably the safest place you can be.
You know, the process for volunteering is very simple. Simple steps. 1, make the call, contact Amicus. 2, attend a training session. 3, get matched with an inmate. And 4, show up to the prison and visit with them. So it's very simple.
It's really easy to become an Amicus volunteer. There aren't a lot of hoops to go through. We do ask you to fill out an application. We'll check a couple of references to make sure that you're the kind of person that can be depended on to follow through. And then beyond that, we just want you to be you so that we can match you to somebody who will enjoy getting to know you.
Amicus does a great job, you know. Like, I just think they seen enough in me to hook me up with somebody special. And that was it.
Well, right now, there are people in need of volunteers. They are in need of people who can serve one-on-one. And you can't do it next year or the year after. The need is now. And so I would urge people, if they really do care about the future, that they decide now's the time to show up, and Amicus is a good place to show up.